Okay, we will start the meeting at 6:02. Wow, that was loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so, call the meeting to order. We start with a pledge of allegiance. Flags behind me. Flags behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Murphy, McCanny,
Here.
Perkins, Turpinning,
Here.
Cullis.
Here. So, this is a board normally of 7 members. We are down to 5. Kari Cuxey had stepped down, and then in May, after our meeting, we lost Bill DeSessa, and that took us to a 5-member board. Mr. Perkins has asked to be excused.
Make a motion to excuse Mr. Perkins.
I'll second it.
Motion by McCanny, support by Turpinning. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So with a 5-member board, that makes our quorum 3 members, which we qualify for. Mr. Murphy has called and he's on our way.
Thank you for that.
Well, I knew you'd want to know how I was doing this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
with only a 5-member board, that makes the quorum 3.
Okay.
I was told there wouldn't be any math involved in this.
Not for you, I did the math.
Okay, good.
We're good. Agenda changes or approval of the agenda. If nobody has anything to change on the agenda, then I guess I do. Under old business, it says review Battle Alley properties. Let's make that Battle Alley / Saginaw Street properties.
Okay.
With that amendment, I would make a motion to approve the agenda
Second.
as amended. Support by Turpinning. All in favor, we're not paying any money, so we can do this by a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Now, approval of the minutes from May 9th. That's kind of tricky. That was 5 months ago. I did look them over. Actually, Chris, this is why you do such a nice job on minutes. It helps me remember what that meeting was about, because I'll
Thank you.
be honest with you, it was so
Thanks.
long ago, I don't.
Yes, well done.
Thank you.
Even got my name right. The first N is usually swapped with the second N.
Okay.
Drives me nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're in the right order. It's great.
Thank you.
Motion, Chair would entertain a motion to approve.
I move.
So moved by Turpinning, support
Support.
by McCanny. You guys can take turns. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our statement of purpose. The mission of the Holly Historic District Commission is to safeguard the heritage of the village of Holly by preserving the historic district in the village that reflects the elements of the village's history, architecture, archaeology, engineering, or culture. The goal of the commission's work is to stabilize and improve property values in the historic districts and the surrounding area, foster a civic beauty, strengthen the local economy, and to promote the use of the historic districts for education, pleasure, welfare of the citizens of Holly. Next, we will go on to public comment. Members of the public can address the commission once recognized by the chairperson. Comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for items not on the agenda. Commission may extend this time by up to an additional 4 minutes by a majority vote. For items on the agenda, comments may be made after commission discussion prior to commission vote. Prior to addressing the commission, members of the public shall state their name and address for the record. Anyone wish for public comment? None appearing. Before I go into old business, I just want to make a couple of statements, because if I don't make them, I'm going to end up forgetting to do it. I want to thank Kurt Nitschke. He is our new liaison from the village. He got thrown into this, and he's been diligently working with me to get us to this meeting. I want to thank Chris for all of the work I've had her do this past week, along with Ron Campbell, Jeremy Watson, and Jerry Walker. I've met with all of those people, sometimes some individually, some together, to get us to this meeting tonight, and you'll hear about that as we go through it, because we've got a lot of things to look at as we go forward. I will tell you this, in one of the 2 meetings I had with Mr. Walker, we will be having meetings on a regular basis now. We had a phone call, and for one reason or another, can we cancel a meeting? There wasn't anything on the agenda, and I had agreed. And then we were supposed to have a meeting in August, and then that got pulled out from under us. And then the September meeting, I talked to Mr. Nitschke, we were both on board, we were having the meeting, and I don't know why, but you worked some really long hours, because I got an email from you at 12:58 p.m. That's 2 minutes to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
It's when it came through telling me the meeting was canceled.
No way.
Yep. I said, how late do you
He's
guys
an
have
imposter
those guys
somewhere.
working?
I'm never awake at that time.
So that meeting got called. And my meeting with Jerry was to tell him, I said, we can't function if we don't have meetings. It's too far apart to get things done. So I did get a commitment from him. We're going to start having meetings on a regular monthly basis, even if there isn't an application, so we can take care of some of the other business.
We breaking the budget with our salaries or something?
Well, I just know there was a lot of changes.
That's a
when
joke,
Steve
by the
McGee
way.
and Jeremy moved, but hopefully that's all behind us and we can go forward.
All right.
So, but I just wanted to thank all these people so that I don't forget it later on.
Well, thank you for doing the extra legwork on that.
Under old business, the review of Battle Alley properties. This goes back, well, parts of this go back 5 years ago when we first started talking about the building on the corner of Saginaw and Battle Alley that came in and changed windows with no building permit. In fact, it is a prime example of why you want a historic district, because in their case, as you can see in the pictures, there is a pack. You didn't get this in the packet, but it was given to you today, this one here. You see the full pictures on the next page? Those first 2 pictures are the pictures that I'm talking about. That's the building, and I said it has addresses. It has 2 addresses on Saginaw and 2 on Battle Alley. But these are the old pictures before the windows were done, and you'll notice they're dated August of '21. So it wasn't done that long ago. You no longer can get a Google picture of buildings in Battle Alley. Since they closed it off, the cars can't get down there. So we won't have any more pictures of Battle Alley after the 2018 ones. But we do have the 2021. If you were to look at this building today, I know Mr. McCann, you're the one that pointed it out to me, the 3 windows to the left were replaced. The window with the air conditioner still looks like that. Then the next window wasn't touched. Then the next window was touched. And they're all inappropriate windows. They were all done without a building permit. Now, this building has sold since that happened. Mr. Nitschke had contacted the property owner, and he claimed that he bought it that way. So for this commission, I met with Ron Campbell because I wanted clarity on the law. I know what I read within the Secretary of the Interior standards, but I wasn't sure that it pertained in this case. And Mr. Campbell said it absolutely does apply. And in fact, he cited case law where a situation like this happened, and they went in, and the new property owner was made to fix and put it back, or fix it to what met the standards of the Interior.
Yes.
So even in the event of a court case, you push forward on something like this, and because it falls under the Secretary of the Interior, it's existing law and it has to be followed.
Yeah.
So this is the one building. I discussed it with Mr. Walker, with Mr. Nitschke, this building here. And we're going to move forward on that. I don't even think it requires a vote by us, because as we checked with, Chris, is it proper to refer to you as Clerk Snow? Or do you have a title?
My title?
Yeah,
My title with the village?
yeah.
Deputy Clerk Treasurer.
Oh, Deputy Clerk Treasurer, okay.
Yep.
So but I checked with Chris, and there were no building permits pulled for this project
Correct.
on record. So the village will be moving forward on that one, is my understanding. Okay. The other one that was in our May minutes for discussion was 109 Battle Alley, which was Ziggy's, and that's been an issue ever since they did the original build-out. They needed to remove the half-moon plywood that covered the window in the mural. That has since been done. I walked by it with Ron Campbell 2 days ago, and it's been removed. So that was one of them on our list. And then the other one is 115 Battle Alley, because 201 and 203 we just dealt with, is 115. Mr. McCanny, that one was yours.
Yes, so that's the big window in the front, right on the walkway by the alley. The window was replaced because of was it because of the fire, or was it because of a
I think it
break?
was the fire. The glass was,
Yeah, it was melted because of the fire.
well, it caused them to crack.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And we approved that with the condition that the wooden surround that holds the window in place would be replaced with wooden,
Would still be trimmed out in the wood.
yeah, used wood trim out, and instead they just wrapped it with aluminum and caulked it in and called it good.
So, Mr. Nitschke, this is one we have not talked about, because I forgot about it till I got to the minutes.
Okay, let me get ready here.
Okay.
That's 115.
Ms. Snow, if you would let the record show that Mr. Murphy joined us at 6:14.
I think so.
So that's one I forgot to point out to you until I saw the minutes tonight. That is RHL across from the hotel.
The hotel's
That front
110
window got replaced, but the wood trim did not.
or 111.
And Ms. Snow will be able to pull those minutes for you so you can see where that approval was given.
So it's approved?
It was approved, but specifically that the wood trim had to be replaced.
Are we talking about Dennis's place?
Well, if you would go to the minutes from the last meeting, it's on the second page. We're talking about 115 Battle Alley.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
We've already gone over the other ones. I'll update you later
Okay.
on those.
Sorry, for some reason I thought this was next week. My bad.
Well, that's because it took us days to get the first documents to you.
I just saw him downtown, and I thought you were on the way here, so.
Yeah, I was getting changed from Rockies. Yeah, no, I was.
Okay, so that takes care of that one. Then next we come to, is it 113 Battle Alley?
111.
111.
111.
That's the, but you have a picture of the back of RHL.
Yeah, so in the approval for RHL, not only did we approve the front windows, but we approved the back windows in the form that you see them on there. Then what we had was, and the owner's with us tonight because he's got his application in for a front door, or 2 front doors. No. Just the one, for a front door. But the windows on the back of that building were also done without a permit through the village. So that will go along with the Saginaw corner, Mr. Nitschke.
I'm sorry.
The windows on the back of this building
Right.
will be handled by the village in the same manner as the corner building on Saginaw.
And confirming that address is,
Well, I thought it was 113, somebody said 111.
It's 111 Battle Alley.
Okay, 111.
111 is the door. Is it?
Yeah, 111's the door.
Okay, that's fine. And to clarify for the board, and for Chris as well. The conversation was brought up by Mr. Nitschke. He was asking for clarification. The question is, in a historic building, when is the back of the building in play, for lack of a better term? If you have historic buildings in an alley that is truly a service alley, then they don't count. When your alley is open to the public, as this is due to the parking lot by Red Devil, then the backs of the buildings are just as in play as the front of the buildings.
Yeah, we did that too.
I know, well, Ron Campbell's told us that before, but I wanted to clarify. And that's what we did with RHL, and now this building's right next door, so it falls into the same
Yeah.
situation. All right, thank you. Any more comments on the old business portion?
No.
Okay. Then we will move to general business, which is application 2024-02. That's the application in front of you. Dated 9/24, 111 Battle Alley. Dennis, is it Haig?
Hey,
Haig, Dennis Haig. It's a wood black door plain, changing it to a black fiberglass door, 6-light window, raised panel. Oh, you have a drawing. Okay.
Oh,
Just one more thing to clarify, both for Chris and for Mr. Nitschke. Anytime a business downtown wants to make any modification to their building, I think it's important that you know they always have the opportunity to reach out to Ron Campbell from County Planning. He will work with anybody. The DDA has to submit the request. That's the county's procedure.
Okay,
But that property owner can have that free service from the county to give them guidance. I know they've used them when the coffee shop remodeled. Bob Hoffman used them on his building. They used them on Avia's. I've been on this board for 10 plus years, but they used them for Avia's. We used them for all the way back to Blackthorn. When Blackthorn came in, they used them on the cafe when that got rehabbed. So that's a service that the county provides, and they really do a nice job and walk you through it. And Ron is their historic expert, so he works all that stuff through.
He's an architect, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
we
so
So
cur-
he can do, he can do
he's a-
drawings
he's a
and
good
seal.
guy.
We currently have an application. He's working with the township on the Dawson Tire Building, because that falls in the DDA district, on helping us design the front of that building. And he's also working with the township on conceptual drawings for the current building for when we get ready to sell the building, to help us target a certain market, a certain customer. So they do a lot of work countywide for that stuff. So I just wanted to bring that up.
And
As
that's
I met with him
pretty
2 days
valuable
ago.
service too, because
Yes, and for those of you
architectural
that don't
drawings
know,
are expensive.
Ron Campbell's had a tough couple of months since August. He went in, he wasn't feeling well, thought there was something wrong, they couldn't find anything, they released him. Then he turned around a few days later, he went back, and he was at Genesis, and they more testing and couldn't find anything. And he left, and as he left, somebody told him, they said, you need to go to U of M. So I went down to U of M, and they kept him and found he had lower GI bleeding.
Oh, boy.
But by the time they caught it, he was so worn
Depleted.
out and tired that when I met with him, we walked down Battle Alley. He chose to walk, not drive. He said, I got to build my strength. But I did take his arm on more than one occasion to help him
Wow.
navigate down the street. But
He's a
his
great guy.
spirits are good.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's trying to build back up. So keep him in your prayers. Anyway, so this is what we're looking at for this building. Is this the door, the front door going in, or is this the apartment door to the closest to
Alley,
Ziggy's?
Alley
Yep,
Street. yeah.
okay.
it's an old door, don't seal. That's a lot here and when we say it's an RNG efficient door. And I think that door looks pretty good myself. It's old.
Yes, we have some doors that are down there that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a couple of those too.
Well, even the recent one, that was done by the historic building, coffee shop, that's fireplace door.
No, I wasn't referring to that. I was referring, there's two gray gunmetal doors.
I'm not saying that's a
Yeah, no,
My door's metal. Yeah.
that's one of the two.
Yeah.
So what's the board's pleasure? Any comments, discussion
Just on the door?
on the application in front of you?
Yeah, I know, but I have two, right?
No,
No, just one.
Just one.
just the application on the door.
I think the door looks much better than the old door. The only concern I have is the fiberglass, but,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? It's replacing,
Well, as you said, I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's better than
It's
what's
gonna look
there,
better, yeah.
definitely adds more character back to the village.
than the one that's there, yeah.
Yeah. And so the outside of the building is supposed to tell a story to somebody that is walking around the building. It's a historic document. So the things that we're concerned with is noticing or making it obvious what is new and what is old, so that the person walking around, nobody with you, can say, oh, I see, they added this on. Oh, okay, so here's the original building, here's the original doors, so that's our purview and that's our purpose, according to the Secretary of Interiors.
Yep.
So going from it's probably a hollow fill door,
I mean,
maybe a fire door,
it's definitely gonna look better.
yeah.
I think.
But
this-
it's obvious that it's a
It's
fiberglass
obvious,
door,
yeah.
so it's like, okay, well, this is a replacement door.
So this would fall under motion to proceed.
Right, because that's what because it's
Certificate-
asking for
just so
certificate
you
of
know the difference,
appropriateness.
A certificate of appropriateness would be if you were taking the door off, restoring it, let's say it was an old oak and you were having it refinished and all that, that falls under a certificate of appropriateness. In a case like this, we will grant a motion to proceed,
That's,
which is what you're looking for.
Right.
unless you're gonna put a new door in place.
Well, if you
That
had
was
come in
made
with
out of
it,
wood.
if you had come in, for example, with one of those gray steel doors, then we'd be going, no, we're not going that way. So,
I didn't,
But
pardon?
you would disagree if I did what?
If you had come in with one of those gray steel doors like I referenced,
Oh,
Yeah.
then we
Yeah.
wouldn't be granting anything. But in this one here, my suggestion is a certificate to proceed.
well, it would be better if it was a wood door.
It would be better, but, I mean,
No pun intended at all.
Yeah. But we're getting a trade up from what's there,
Yes.
Exactly.
okay? Or a compromise, however you want to look at that.
Compromise.
And we're not going backwards with the old steel gray doors.
Right.
So Chair would entertain a motion, Mr. McCanny?
I was gonna say, Mike, you're the motion guy.
I'm the motion guy, I have the motion. I had motion
Just
sickness
so the
earlier.
audience, both here and at home, understands, motions in a lot of meetings are made by what we want to do just in general. When it comes to the HDC, we fall under the guidelines of the National Historic Preservation and the Secretary of the Interior, and they have written within their guidelines specific motions for approval for the different things. So Mr. McCanny, you'll find, makes most of them, because he's got them all written right here in the notebook, and he picks the one we need, and we label it accordingly. So it keeps us within the parameters that we're supposed to be. So if you want to go ahead and make that motion.
Could have used a few more minutes, sir. Well, the thing that's difficult is it's not a historical building material, so a lot of these don't fit, right?
You're looking for the one that says motion to proceed. That's
Yes,
the
I
other
have it,
problem.
yeah.
When you don't do a meeting every 6 months, you got to refresh everything.
But you also, okay, all right. So here we go. So we have the,
Is it number 11?
where is the permit thing? Did I put it away already? What's the permit number?
Oh, there's an
2020-402.
application number.
2020-402?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I move the commission issue a notice to proceed for application number 2020-402. The work is not appropriate, however, the following condition prevails. The historic character of the property will be retained and preserved. Removal of distinctive materials or alteration of features, spaces, or spatial relationships that characterize the property will be avoided. So we're actually improving the look of the property, so I think that's appropriate. And the proposed application will be materially correct in condition. So the material isn't proper, but the shape is, so I think we gain.
The look and feel of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I second.
Second, oh,
I'm
God.
sorry, Pete.
Third.
So motion by McCanny, second by Turpinning.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Murphy,
Yes.
Turpinning,
Yes.
McCanny,
Yes.
Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Hay.
Okay. Can I say something about, you talking about the windows in the back, that was my building?
Yeah, if you'd come to the podium, start out by announcing your name and address.
Dennis Haig, 4320 Stepping Stone Lane.
Okay.
Anyways, I talked to Jeremiah Watson about these windows in the back, and he says it doesn't matter, they're in the back of the building. So that's why I proceeded with them windows.
Okay. Well, and,
That was when we had the fire,
Sure.
oh,
and I had all the front windows replaced because of the fire. And he told
you
me,
had to replace the ones on the back of the building for the fire?
no, I wanted to replace them because I wanted better windows. They were
Oh.
old.
I thought you said you had to replace them because of the fire.
No, I didn't. The
Okay.
front windows were replaced because of the fire.
Right. Yeah, that I knew.
And but when we were going through this, he says, it doesn't matter in the back. You can put whatever you want up back there.
Okay,
And he didn't say nothing about getting a permit, or I would have got a permit, you know what I mean?
all right.
And the windows that were in there were not very efficient, single pane windows, and they had aluminum outside sliding up and down windows, you know? And they were falling apart, everything was falling apart, rotten and everything.
Well, and you'll be able to deal with that with the village. I can't speak for Mr. Watson, but
But,
they'll contact you on how to go. You'll have
Okay.
to take that up with them.
but I'm just saying, I mean,
The fact that we made Randy,
I ain't trying to slide in on the thing, I mean,
No,
I
Okay.
thought I was approved for it, you know?
our commission here, our concern is that we go and stay with the standards, and everybody else goes through that process.
Right.
I can't speak for Mr. Watkins or Watson, or the conversation you had with him.
Yeah.
You'll have to deal with that with the village.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Did you get meeting notice?
I think so,
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, I did.
okay.
Okay, we have one more thing to discuss that was in the minutes, but I didn't think about it to add it to the old business, but we don't need a motion on it, but it references the HDC guidelines. It's on the top of page 2. I actually finally, we've been very lucky today. All the phone calls have finally come in. The new director of SHPA got a hold of me this afternoon. I have the new name of the person that's the director of community affairs. I'm going to get that name to you. And Mr. McCanny, do you have the HDC guidelines in the final PDF?
I believe so.
So we need to get that then to Chris.
Okay.
I'll get her the contact for where it goes to, and we can send that to SHPA, because SHPA has to give their comments. It'll come back to the board for final approval, and at that point, we will send it to the council. Or I shouldn't say final, it'll come back to the board for our approval that it's ready to be sent to the council, at which point it'll get final approval. And we'll finally get that thing taken care of. All right. In the meantime, we have 2 seats to fill. Everybody knows Bill DeSessa left us suddenly in May. I've had this conversation at the township board level. I had to replace him as I had just put him on the board of review, and I had the board of review coming in the next month, so I had to hurry up and make another change. He is going to be greatly missed. I considered him a personal friend. We had just talked 2 days before he passed
Yeah.
about going to the next historic conference together, because the last time we drove separately, and it was like, we kept meeting each other at the gas station. We said, just drive together. And I've enjoyed working with him, and we
Yes.
don't always agree on things, but what I liked about Bill was you still remain friends, you could still discuss things, you could work out compromise, and it never changed our friendship.
You're not supposed to agree on everything. That's why we have this.
No, exactly.
Exactly.
And he was just a hell of a guy.
He is a great
As
guy.
many people know, he's running for township trustee. And that just happened so suddenly. So,
I didn't notice.
we have to find 2 people for the board to bring us back up to a 7-member board. You weren't here when I discussed that, but because we're down to a 5-member board, our quorum is 3. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to start till you got here.
I know, that's why sorry, I thought it was like next week for some
But-
reason.
I'm gonna look, I have reached out to one of the residents, the couple that owns Ardith Reagan's house, and has done all that work on bringing that house back. They came to the board, they got permission on everything they did. I've reached out to him to see if he would consider sitting on the board. He's a builder contractor, so, but we still need another name, because we're down to 5. So we'll need to look for 2 more people.
What about Vince? Think Vince will do it?
Who?
Vince?
Well, probably not, only because Kari was on the board and stepped down.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So, but I know the village has put out a request for people. As of when I talked to Jerry 2 days ago, nobody had applied for one of these seats. So we'll work on it. I will say this, most of the people that are on this board, we went out and found. I ended up on this board because Jeff Wren came to my house and said, I didn't even know what HDC was at that time. I had just moved into the village, and he said, we have an opening and wondered if you'd be willing to sit on the board. And I went, I have a house in the historic district, can I do that? And he said, sure. You just can't make a decision on your own house. So when my house came before the board, as you remember,
Yeah.
I stepped down from here, I sat in the
Yeah, you
audience.
stepped back.
I became one of the residents over on that side. Mr. McCanny ran that meeting. So we may have to find 2 more people in the same way. So that's our goal, so we can get those names in by next month. That takes us to, well, commission and staff comments. I've made mine. Mr. Turpning, any?
No comments, right?
Okay, Mr. McCanny?
No, I'm glad that the guidelines are moving forward. That's good. That's been around for a long time. I think we could use that, although we don't seem to have to be able to lean on it much. But it'd be great to give 1 copy to everybody in the district. There's only about 110 addresses in the district, and at least give them a manual or something that describes what a district is, what's supposed to be in it, give some pictures, examples, and it'd be really nice. Also, thank you for running down those other properties. I think if we aren't able to enforce anything, then
Well,
we might as well just go
I
home.
had sent Mr. Walker an email quite some time ago, and then with the change from Jeremy to Kurt, trying to catch up with it all, so we kind of had to get in and dig in. And I completely forgot about the one address, Randy Redmond's building, being on that list. But I knew it was a simple fix, but we can move forward on all 3 of those. And somewhere in that packet, Chris, that you just pulled, I think Mr. Redmond submitted pictures.
Yeah, they're in there.
No, those are my pictures.
You mean
Oh.
In the original
in the
application,
original
yeah.
building permit? For 115?
Yes,
So no, it's, no pictures. It's just the home improvement agreement.
Okay, so we'll have to work,
Pictures in this one.
we'll have to work on that. So. Any comment from Mr. Murphy?
My only thing.
Whatever happened with the real estate?
What? I mean,
You were working with the Realtor Board.
oh yeah, I got my license back.
No, you were working with them to get them in some way to acknowledge
Oh, yeah.
historic districts.
And they've been talking about that for years, and it's a really hard problem to fix. I can call them again and see.
Okay, I just,
Because it's just a text box for us, but it's not for them.
yeah,
The only thing I had was a question, I guess.
Sure.
So, we made Randy follow the guidelines for his back windows, and we're not gonna make Dennis do it?
no, I didn't say that. You weren't here.
Oh,
We went over 203 Saginaw, which is where the art shop is, that building.
yeah,
We went over Mr. Haig's building, and we went over Randy Redmond's building. And the village, Mr. Haig's building was done without permits.
right,
Randy Redmond's was done with permits, but there's a piece missing. Ziggy's was dealt with and taken care of.
yeah, I saw that.
The building on Saginaw was done without permits and has changed ownership. None of that matters, based on Ron Campbell.
What building?
What?
What building?
203 Saginaw where the art shop is. The big green
Oh,
building, the
oh.
2 stores on Saginaw, 2 on Battle Alley.
Yeah, yeah,
That building, Randy Redmond's building and Mr. Haig's building will all be dealt with through the village.
yeah, okay,
And you heard Mr. Haig tonight. I didn't want to get in the middle of that because I can't speak for Jeremy. I don't know what was said or what was understood or misunderstood. He'll take that up. What I do know is that Mr. Campbell said that it doesn't matter if those things weren't done, then they're gonna have to backtrack. And even in the case of new ownership, it still doesn't matter. He gave me, case law where they've gone back and they have to. And, you know, some people may say, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is you've made all these other buildings adhere to those standards, and they've done so. And we have a beautiful downtown. But when you get a building like this, now all of a sudden you look up there and you have 5 windows. There's 6 windows total. These 3 are different, this one's different. On the side, they took the round out and capped it off, and it changes the look. Bill DeSessa was the one that saw that one, on the side building. And we called it to the village at the time it happened, and the can just kept getting kicked down the road, so. But I talked to Jerry, they're gonna move forward on it, so.
cool.
There we go.
That's all I got.
Kurt's excited, you can tell by the look on his face.
Excited or terrified?
You'll get fitted for your Flack Fest probably prior to.
Well, and that's why I didn't engage with Mr. Haig, because I can't speak for, I mean, he's saying somebody told him, the fire's 2 years old in and of itself.
Well, he said
Who said what and what was said?
He said Jeremiah though, that's what I.
No, he said Jeremy.
He said Jeremiah
Said-
Roberts.
He said
He said
Jeremiah
Jeremiah
Roberts
Roberts.
told him.
Oh, he
That's-
did?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
didn't understand.
Oh, even I missed that.
Yeah.
My goal was not to engage with him. I handled it here, he heard me say it, he knew it was coming. I'm not gonna get involved in that. The bottom line is whether you had to have a permit or not, he can take that up, and you guys can deal with that. So,
There.
I just
So
know
there.
that eventually we're gonna get it fixed. So,
And those were recently replaced because I saw him doing it.
He's been doing it for
well, he
weeks.
admitted to doing it,
Yeah.
but he said he did it.
He's
apparently,
been doing it for
We'll have
weeks.
to go back to the tape. I thought he said Jeremy, but maybe he said Jeremiah.
He did say Jeremiah Roberts.
He did.
That's why I looked at Mike and I was like, what?
I was
Tim
like,
says-
what does he
Well,
have to
that's
do
even
with?
worse, 'cause Jeremiah Roberts has no authority.
No,
at all.
it's like Santa Claus saying.
Well,
"Oh,
that's
wait."
why I said I
Sorry,
wasn't,
he
I
could
wasn't,
actually
I
do
wasn't
that.
gonna get into it with him as to who said what. Because that would be a conversation, that would be an effort in futility.
Speaking of RHL, did you see Scrooge in the window with all of the coins? and
No.
Money? Yeah, go walk by RHL.
It does look good.
Yeah.
It does look good.
So that was good.
Okay.
But we
so
gotta get back to the baseball game, so
That gets us
Yeah.
to the end of the meeting. Any more comments from Mr. Nitschke?
My wife says whenever I speak in public, never say anything dumb, so. My name's Kurt Nitschke. Have been promoted into Jeremy's position. Jeremy Watson has moved on to being the fire chief and building official with the retirement of Chief McGee. I'm working my way into this role, trying to make sure that I am going to be an asset for this board and the historic district and our community as fire marshal. And I will give all you gentlemen my contact information. Feel free to call me. I will probably be calling you with questions and need guidance and wisdom along the way. Thank you.
The one thing you'll need to be careful of is if you have other board members calling you, especially if it's on one topic and you have 3 or 4, when you talk to them, you can't say, well, Mike said this or he said that, because it becomes an OMA.
Yeah, that becomes a quorum and you can't.
I never
Yeah.
learned.
So if you call me, you call George, and you call Mike, then
Yeah, if you had talked to 3 of us and in that conversation told us what the other one said, that's an open meeting act violation. So just keep that in mind.
You'll do fine. You look great.
We had
You
a
should see it from here, Clark. It looks great.
We had a resident on the township level send an email to the entire board on a particular topic, and I fortunately, I was the first person to comment on it, because when I saw it, nobody had commented. I don't know that I was the first person that saw it, obviously, but I commented on it immediately, and I said, we have to be careful and not comment on this, because if more than 2 of us do, it's an OMA. And at that point, nobody commented. But there are other communities that have been caught that way. People start answering the email, and then they're accused of having the conversation outside a public meeting. So you always have to remember that. Okay? That seems to do it for us this evening. It is 6:44. I'm going to call this meeting done.
Oh, yeah, sure can. It's right there.
We made
It's
it.
in here.
do another one.
It's
Well, I told you, I
right in
had
this
done a lot of
room.
legwork
In
to
this
get this
room. You
meeting
don't have to
here
go out of
because
the
it's
room.
been so
Down
long,
to your
and
left.
I wanted to cross our Ts and dot our Is on all of that stuff, because I didn't want to say